dare you upgrade his seat to first class just because he's a soldier? I demand you give those seats to my daughter and I.
r/EntitledParents.
Yes!
Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Mom Demands My First Class Upgrade, from user The Goodest Dude. After that, entitled Mom Asked Me to Trick My Sister, from user Red Nerd. After that, entitled Roommate Treats Our Place Like a Dump and Gets Me Very Sick, from user Purple Wolf 2000. And then we'll be wrapping up with Tiny Little Sister is a Big Bully and Mother and Father Do Nothing About It, from user Yard Sailing. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories, and if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Entitled Mom Demands My First Class Upgrade. This all happened back in 2013, and I just came across this subreddit yesterday. We've got me, just a 20-year-old punk. We've got entitled Mom, and we've got the really chill flight attendant. I had just got back from Afghanistan about a week ago and was heading home on my post-deployment leave to surprise my father. He did not know I was back. When I got to the check-in counter, the lady told me that the flight was delayed due to mechanical issues and that they were trying to find a new plane for the flight. This is important later. 4 hours later, I am boarding my flight. Now, the original plane did not have a first-class row, but the new plane did, and no one was seated in them. As a veteran, they allowed me and a few others to board the flight first. Once seated, I put my headphones in and waited for the flight to depart. After the flight was loaded, the flight attendant came on the speaker to tell everyone that the flight had the entire first-class section open and that they would select seats at random to give people free upgrades for the flight. This is where everyone started to ask for the upgrade, some even getting belligerent, demanding an upgrade. I didn't mind my seat and honestly did not expect to get selected for the upgrade. But as the lady was going around, listening to people bugging her for an upgrade, she came up to me. "Excuse me, sir. Would you like to be upgraded to first class?" "Really? That would be great. I've never sat in first class before." "Well, it's your lucky day. Grab your carry-on and I'll show you to your new seat." As I'm collecting my belongings, the passenger behind my seat went hysterical.
What makes him so special that you gave him the upgrade?
"Ma'am, the selection was random and his seat was selected."
That's BS. He already got into the plane before me and my daughter, even though I was Zone A. How much more does he need?
"Ma'am, I'm sorry. It was random." I tell the attendant, "It's okay. I can sit in my normal seat and she can have the upgrade."
My daughter needs an upgrade too, then. Just give her a random upgrade too.
"Ma'am, the seats have already been selected. I can't remove someone else for your daughter. You'll have to stay in your seat." At this point, the flight attendant took me to the first-class seat and I sat down. She asked me if I wanted anything to drink and that everything was complimentary. So I ordered a beer and a bag of chips and put my headphones in to enjoy my one and only time in first class. Fast forward to being in the air. An hour has gone by, and I'm asleep when I feel someone tapping me on the shoulder. I wake up, and it's the crazy passenger from before.
I'll take your seat now.
Well, I'm already settled, and the flight attendant already told you no.
Okay. How about you get out of the seat right now? I'm a mother, so give it to me.
I'm agitated at this point. With all due respect, no. I'm just going to stay here. After that, entitled Mom leaves, and I put my headphones back in. A few minutes later, entitled Mom returns and pulls my headphones out of my head.
You're going to give me that seat.
She then collects my phone and Kindle off the tray and stands up. Now I'm furious because she just yanked my headphones off and took my belongings, So I get the flight attendant's attention and explain what's going on. Ma'am, please return to your seat. I don't want this to escalate any further.
This is ridiculous. Just 'cause he's a soldier doesn't mean he should get special treatment by everyone.
I'm a Marine, by the way. Entitled Mom then threw my belongings on my lap pretty hard, and I just sat there quietly until she went back to her seat. I apologized to the flight attendant for all the trouble, and she told me situations like this is why they never really give free upgrades during a flight. The rest of the flight went normal, and I was able to surprise my dad. Edit. My cousin actually recorded me surprising my dad, one of the few times I've ever seen him cry. Next we've got Entitled Mom asked me to trick my sister. It was a family tradition where nephews and niece would visit their aunt and uncle to receive gifts during Christmas morning. Our parents would leave us here with my aunt together with our little cousins. We were around 4 to 6, and I was the oldest. During the day, the parents would go out and fetch things they would need to celebrate for the little reunion they would do tonight. Our aunt gave us our presents. Me and the boys each got a toy that shoots out rubber corks. It was a time before gadgets existed, so we were quite excited to play with them immediately. So we ran outside. My sister and my other girl cousin, the entitled kid, received a doll as a gift. Same size, same design. The only difference was my sister's had a red hat. Entitled Kid's has blue. My sister loved the doll immediately, but Entitled Kid hated hers. Entitled Kid made sure that everyone in the room knew this. She screamed and whined and cried and kept calling her mom, the Entitled Mom. Entitled Mom did not join the other parents for preparing, but instead stayed with us, together with her Entitled Kid. Entitled Mom was really embarrassed by Entitled Kid's behavior. Entitled Mom immediately apologized to my aunt, and she picked up Entitled Kid and left the room to calm her down. After playing around for a bit, my aunt called us to eat. We continued to have a feast with her delicious home-cooked meals and desserts in the dining room. After everyone finished with our food, we came back by the fireplace where we left all of our toys. My sister can no longer find hers. Instead, the blue doll is sitting where she left hers. She panicked. She thought she misplaced hers and asked me to help her find the doll. So me and the other boys searched around the room, but we couldn't find it. So we decided to ask my aunt if she had seen the doll. My sister says, "Auntie, I lost my doll. I can't find it. Have you seen it?" My aunt, "Wait, let me ask your aunt, the Entitled Mom. I believe she knows where it was." She went to call Entitled Mom from the room. I took a peek and saw them arguing quietly before Entitled Mom came out.
Hi, sweetie. I heard you were looking for your doll.
And Entitled Mom, have you seen Caroline? She already named it the moment she got a hold of it. She names all her toys.
Oh, yes. She's just right here, sitting on the sofa.
Entitled Mom picked up the blue doll and showed it to my sister. We looked at her with confusion. I didn't pay much attention when they opened their gifts a few hours ago, but I do trust my sister. My sister knew by heart it's not her doll. She did not speak.
What's the matter? Don't you like it? Aren't you glad you have a pretty doll?
But she's not Caroline.
But she is. You should be grateful for whatever your aunt gave you. Come on, take it.
Sister was quiet. She didn't take it. She hid behind my back and tugged my shirt. Aunt Entitled Mom, I think there must be a mistake. Maybe Entitled Kid accidentally took the wrong doll? Entitled Mom pulled me away and whispered to me,
Come on, son. Help me out here. Try to convince your sister it was her doll. Entitled Kid wants the other doll, and she'll be causing me a lot of trouble tonight if I take her home without the one she liked. You know her, right? She will not stop bawling her eyes out.
But you want me to lie to my sister?
It's not lying. Think of it as doing a good deed for your aunt. Will you do it for me, please? You're a big boy now, and you should know how to handle your little sister. She should know that you're in charge.
I stay quiet. I don't know what to do next. Mom and Dad were not here to help us out. I walk away and take my sister with me. She was really quiet, and I clearly felt her trying hard not to cry. Aunt Entitled Mom said, "You can't have your doll. Entitled Kid won't let her go." "What should I do? We can't leave Caroline with her." We decided to tell our aunt about what Entitled Mom did. My aunt says, "What? She's always like that since we were kids. Entitled Mom always gets what she wants among us siblings, and Grandma always favored her because she's the oldest. Me and your mom never got what we wanted. I'm gonna go ask her to stop this." Aunt got angry and went to Entitled Mom. They're having a heated discussion, so they asked Entitled Kid to leave the room. Entitled Kid got out, very annoyed, stomping her way to the living room. I was with my sister, and she's currently holding the blue doll. She's very sad and caressing its hair slowly. My sister: "I'm sorry you had to see this. Your mom doesn't mean what she said about you. She's just angry and confused right now." She seems to be comforting the doll as if it was a baby. I feel very sad for her, but I'm just a kid, a wimpy kid. We grew up accepting the fact that adults' words are final and unappealable. We can't fight against Entitled Mom. This was when Entitled Kid shows up and began screaming.
"What are you doing with my doll? Get your filthy hands off her."
Entitled Kid grabbed the doll's hair and pulled it away. My sister won't let go. "Stop! You're hurting her." The other boys saw what was happening and they began to cheer.
Fight, fight, fight!
I say, "Stop it! Stop it or I'm gonna hit you."
No, you're not. You're not supposed to hit or go.
The other boys grabbed and stopped me. Cousin 1: "Hey, she's right. You know how scary her mom is." Cousin 2:
"She's gonna punish all of us if she finds out."
Entitled Kid laughs and calls us wimps. I don't know what to do anymore, so I just ran to get the adults. But I can hear the screaming inside the room too. Aunt and Entitled Mom are in the middle of an argument. I knocked. "Aunt? Entitled Mom?"
Go away. You're not supposed to interrupt adult talk.
"Entitled Kid. She's in trouble."
What?
Entitled Mom opens the door and shook me.
What happened? Tell me.
My aunt: "Let's go check it out." They ran. I was left at the room. I was still grasping what's happening. I stayed in the room for a minute before I get out. Then I was shocked to see Entitled Kid on the floor crying, and Entitled Mom pulling the hair of my sister. Everyone else is in panic.
Stupid little brat. What on earth has gotten into your rotten brain to let you think that it's okay to hurt my kid?
Aunt pushed away Entitled Mom. My aunt: "What are you doing? Stop it. She's just a kid."
Who the heck do you think you are? You don't have kids, and you can't have them. So you tried to fill that void by borrowing our kids. But no matter what you do, you will never know what it feels like to be a mom.
Aunt slapped Entitled Mom in the face, really hard. Everyone stopped, even Entitled Kid. My aunt: "Leave. I never want to see you again." Entitled Mom dragged Entitled Kid away. Entitled Kid does not want to stand, so she just let her body sweep along the floor. Her limbs are still flailing in tantrums and crying out unrecognizable words. Entitled Mom grabbed their things from the room and went out without saying a word. Aunt was pretty silent too, as she let these guests out and closed the door behind. She slid down and slumped as she covered her face with her hands. She was crying. Everyone came and hugged her. It was a very crushing moment, and everyone was crying. My sister says, "I'm sorry. It's my fault." My aunt: "No, baby. Don't worry. I saw what happened. It's not your fault." She stood up and wiped her tears. "Okay, everyone. Let's stop crying. Don't you worry about your aunt. She's a strong woman, and she can take it. How about we just all have ice cream?" Everyone cheered. Kids, even with tears still flowing out of our eyes, our faces brighten up every time we hear ice cream. "Just give me a minute. Go to the dining table to wait for me, okay?" We went to the dining room and waited for our aunt. She must have continued crying in the bathroom because it took a while, though no one else seemed to notice the time since they're all very busy telling me what I had missed. The boys even reenacted everything. I didn't see what happened, but from the stories my sister and all my cousins told me, I got the gist. Entitled Kid was pulling the doll's hair, and my sister was telling her to stop. Entitled Kid threatened to pull away the rest of the head of the doll if she didn't let go. Entitled Kid said, if she can't have it, no one should. This was when sister immediately let go because she didn't want the doll to get hurt. Entitled Kid fell down. She was pulling so hard that when my sister let go, she was taken aback. Everyone watching began laughing so hard. She must have been humiliated by what happened, so she started crying. That was when Entitled Mom and Aunt came and saw it. Entitled Mom ran to her kid and asked her what had happened. Entitled Kid was wailing and pointing her finger to my sister. Entitled Mom immediately pulled my sister's hair, and that was when I came in. Now, my aunt had come back with a gallon of our favorite pistachio ice cream, and everyone excitedly took a bowl and waited for her to fill it up. As we dug in our treat, she began to tell us her story for the first time. She had had a miscarriage a long time ago, what should have been her firstborn. After the operation, the doctor said she won't be able to have kids anymore. But she loves kids, so she just pours her love for her nephews and nieces. She was teary-eyed as she was telling this story. Cousin 1 says, "Don't worry, Auntie. We can be your kids." Cousin 2, "Yeah, we don't like our mom. You should be our mom." Cousin 3, "And we can have ice cream every day." Everyone laughed, but my sister was still quiet. My aunt, "Hey, baby, what's wrong?" "I'm worried about Caroline." I say, "Wait." I suddenly remembered what I did a while ago. When I was at the room and Entitled Mom and Aunt rushed to go see the commotion outside, I saw a doll's hair sticking out of Entitled Kid's backpack. So I took the doll and hid it under the bed before I went out. I don't know why I did that. I just felt like I had to. I ran back to the room and took the doll under the bed. I showed it to my sister. "Is this her?" "Caroline!" Cousin 1. "You found it!" Cousin 2. "Nice one!" Cousin 3. "Where was it? We looked for it everywhere, but we couldn't find it." I saw it in Entitled Kid's bag. My aunt began laughing. "Well, she found her way back to where she belongs." My cousin's parents came shortly after. They were really excited to tell them what had just happened. My parents came by a little later too, together with the rest of our relatives. We all had a nice family reunion, even if we were missing one family that year. Next we've got Entitled Roommate Treats Our Place Like a Dump and Gets Me Very Sick. First things first, I would like to apologize for any formatting issues as I wrote this on mobile, but am posting on computer. Also, this happened over a long period of time, so there isn't much dialogue. Sorry. I'm going to try and link an image with the story too if I can figure it out. My roommate may seem more inconsiderate than entitled, but she definitely was entitled, as she often told me that her doing night shifts meant that she shouldn't be expected to clean up after herself. Also, I'm on mobile, so sorry if there are formatting issues. Too long didn't read at the bottom. So, a little backstory. My former roommate and I used to be really close friends, and were since grade 10, 4 years before we moved in together. But I had known her since we were in grade 9. Now this friend grew up very poor, and her house was always a mess. And I'm talking mold-filled crock pots on the table and sticky floors kind of messy. When we decided to share an apartment together, she told me that she wanted to get away from the lifestyle she grew up in and change her bad habits, so I agreed. After all, how bad could it be? Here is our cast. We have Entitled Roommate, We have me. P.S. I have asthma that can be triggered by allergies, the cold, and exercise. Important for the story. On to the story. So when my friend moved in, things started off okay. She had a few habits that bothered me, like going through a 24-pack of water bottles a week, leaving lights on, not locking the front door. But I didn't make a big deal about it. Figured that as she was here, they would go away. Things were going okay for the most part. Then she started night shifts. Once she started night shifts, she stopped cleaning up after herself and said, "I don't have time to clean. I need to sleep," if I brought it up. I ended up doing 90% of the chores and housework. I salted the walkways, swept, washed dishes, put dishes away, vacuumed, etc. Anytime I asked her to help, she would give attitude and say, "I work night shifts. I need to sleep. I shouldn't have to clean." If I pointed out she was just watching TV or on her phone, she would tell me to stop nagging her. One time in the winter, she ordered food and the guy fell. I hadn't been able to salt the walkways yet. Not that it's my job. I just do it because if I don't, it won't get done. As I had just woken up and was making breakfast for myself. He scolded her for not having it salted, and she turned to me and snapped her fingers and said, "Salt the walkway," in a demanding tone. I was taken aback and coldly told her to do it, as I always do it. She stated, "That's not my job. I don't do that." I told her that today it is, and she said she would do it later. She never did. She started cooking less and less and ordered takeout a lot more, but wouldn't throw it out for weeks. See the attached image if I can get it up here. She used our living room as her area and would throw and leave her garbage in the ground and couch. With her ordering so much takeout, it was hard to keep track with the garbage and recycling as we shared with the landlords upstairs, and so things would pile up and started to mold. I told her that this was a big issue as I have severe allergies to mold, as well as severe asthma, and I needed her to deal with her garbage. This is how that went down. "Hey, could you please take the bag of your food garbage to the dumpster at the church across the street? It's starting to mold, and I don't want it to affect my lungs. You know I'm allergic and could have an asthma attack due to it." "Yeah, I'm allergic too, so I'll just get my mom to take it later." "Okay, well, please get her to do it soon. I can't go into the storage room where she left the bags without my lungs getting irritated." Well, she never threw it out, so my dad ended up coming and taking it. This happened a few more times, and each time I had asthmatic allergic reactions and lung infection that made it hard to breathe, and I had to use a nebulizer. She didn't seem to care. Not only did she leave her garbage to rot, but also 3 times when she made minestrone, she left it out on the stove for days and let it rot. See the image again. The first time this happened, she made it and then left it out for a few days before going for the weekend to the city. Well, things had started to smell bad before she left, but I had work and asked her to try to figure out what the smell was before she left. I come home later, and the smell is worse, and she is gone, but I don't know what it is. The next day I wake up for work, and the smell is even worse. I throw out the garbage, hoping it's that, and leave for work. 8 hours later, I come home, and I can smell it before I get inside. My dad is with me, and we both gasp for air when we get inside. He helps me look for the source, and sure enough, it's her soup. It had turned into moldy chunks and looked disgusting. My dad, my hero, dealt with it and poured it down the toilet and cleaned the pot with Lysol. The second time was when I came home from seeing my boyfriend 3 hours away for the weekend. She had been making soup before I left, and the soup was still left on the stove when I came back. I asked her to deal with it because it was starting to smell, and she just glared at me and told me she had to sleep because she had work that night. The next day I had work in the morning, so I texted her that by the time I got home, I wanted that soup to be gone, or else I would throw it out, pot and all. Thankfully, she dealt with it, but she gave me attitude for the rest of the day and every time she had food would ask me, "Oh, are you going to make me throw this out too?" I tried to have reasonable talks with her about the garbage and mold, and how I wasn't trying to be mean about it, but that it was a huge health issue for me. She would just say that I was being dramatic and complain to her twin and friends about me saying I was mean to her and unreasonable. She started telling people my personal things and trying to turn people against me by saying that
I learned things about OP that don't sit well with me.
she did a lot of petty and rude things and continued to leave her garbage everywhere and not care if her pig-like ways affected my health. We had a 1-year lease agreement, so when the time came for her to leave, I was so happy. I had extended my lease for an extra month without telling her, and she was angry that I didn't talk to her about it so she could stay longer, but I wanted her gone. So come the end of her lease, she left. However, she did leave me a bunch of her garbage and a plate of mold that I think used to be chili. After she moved out, I ended up getting one last asthmatic allergic lung infection and was out of commission for 3 days, hardly able to breathe. She later sent a text to my best friend saying she needs a break from me and that I'm not a good person and that she learned the truth about me and it doesn't sit well with her. Whatever. I'm so relieved to be done with her. Hasta la vista, entitled cow. And here's the picture of what OP was having to deal with. I tell you what, my friend, I'm glad you no longer have that roommate. And our final story of the day. Tiny little sister is a big bully, and mother and father do nothing about it. Hello, Mr. Reddit and the Re-Army. I haven't been watching your channel for very long, but I love every story. I often listen to you while drawing and painting and playing my games. I'm on my laptop, and English is my first language. I suck at spelling, so roast away. Anyways, let's get into the cast. We've got Big Bully Sister. We've got Entitled Mom, my somewhat entitled mother. We've got Lazy Dad, and me. This only happened yesterday, and I figured it would be a good story. A little background before we begin. My cousin passed down her old laptop to my sisters and I since she had gotten a really nice one as a graduation gift. She told us that we all had to share. I was completely fine with this, as I hadn't had a computer or laptop I could have access to for years. Fast forward to present day. I had to go to my grandmother's house to help with anything that she needed. She recently had surgery to correct ligaments and nerves in her foot, while my grandfather was at some auctions. When I came home, Sister was on the laptop. I didn't mind since I had it for about 30 minutes earlier that morning. Entitled Mom had me run to the grocery store and get some things for her. I got back home and made my lunch. And of course, Sister is still on the laptop. I finish eating and continue my painting I had started the day before. Fast forward to about 5-ish. She is still on the laptop. I asked Entitled Mom to have a turn, and surprisingly, she said yes. Sister flipped out and started throwing a fit. Entitled Mom just sat there on her phone while I had to deal with my sister. Lazy Dad was home at the time and also didn't do a thing. My sister. Insert La Famous Re here.
You always hog the computer. Wah, I never get a turn.
That's not true. I only get it in the mornings. I would like it just once.
Wah.
I know this is probably rude, but I took the laptop from her. I plugged it in where I sit in my family room and went to the bathroom. When I walk out, Sister is sitting in my chair watching her dumb YouTube family vlogs. I tried being as nice as I could. Sister, it's my turn. Will you please get off?
No, you always have it.
Sister, you've had it all day. I only want a turn.
No, you are such a jerk.
Sister went on to hit me, and Lazy Dad still sits on the couch and doesn't do anything. Entitled Mom gets mad at me for upsetting my sister. Because Sister is the youngest, she gets spoiled, and she has turned into an entitled kid. I am easily upset when I get yelled at for seemingly nothing. It happens a lot, but I've learned to hide it. In the end, Lazy dad finally takes sister to her room after dinner with a tablet. I finally got a turn on the laptop after waiting all day, getting yelled at, and being bullied by my sister. And congrats to our re-generals of the day, Mr. Dexter, Haley, Semi-Potato, and Miloop. Become tomorrow's re-generals by dropping as many re's as you can in the comments below.